All right. Let's do it. Say hey, everybody. Everybody out there, thanks for joining. First pitch before game week 24. Yes, I know I sound like I have a ton of energy right now. Um, Running around. I know I mentioned it on Twitter. We got to take the dog to the vet. It's a scheduled visit. Nothing's wrong. Um, but had to move it up and get ready a little early. So we are still live before lock, technically. We're just a little liver. Live earlier before lock. Live quite a bit before lock. All right. What's up, y'all? Thanks for hopping in. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do. And then let me pull up our projections for the week. If my studio wants to allow me. Here we are. Okay. Here are your pitchers sorted by effectiveness for the week, the midweek. All of the main suspects: Strider, Cole, McClanahan up top. Otani is in there. Then we have our Seth Lugo situation. He is not confirmed. I would look at this and say that he is not going to go. I'm not feeling terribly confident that he's actually going to pitch. I know on RotoWire, Waka is confirmed on Monday today, and Darvish is confirmed on Wednesday, and then there's Snell confirmed on Thursday, and then Tuesday says Lugo, but it is not confirmed. It's not bolded, so I'm going to go over to Padres website really quick. If a site you use doesn't say, you can generally go to the team site, and if it doesn't say for sure that that pitcher is going to pitch, yeah, it's TBD currently on their website, so they're just guessing that Lugo is going to pitch. I would stay away from that, at least in your priority lineups. I wouldn't. I wouldn't go anywhere near that. And I mean, like again, our projections spit out Lugo at a pretty high clip still, and a lot of it is his reliever numbers over the years being extrapolated over more innings than he even pitches. So ideally, I could do something about that, but I don't like to apply exceptions to players and then not other players. So that's kind of what's going on there. So we will see on Lugo, but yeah, I wouldn't prioritize him, especially among this group up here. Um, this is a tough one pitching wise for like a lot of matchups. So like some of these dudes up here at the top are projecting well against good teams. Like so Strider's still projecting well against Philly. Philly's been hot and Strider has not been, so already there's a bit of a conundrum there. Um, I actually, from the looks of it, I have him projected higher than other outlets. Garrett Cole, he's got Seattle. That's fine. I think you can roll with that and be very okay with it. McClanahan, if he does pitch, is supposed to pitch on Thursday. He is unconfirmed, but it would be against Kansas City, and you'd feel okay with it if you just knew. I already talked about Lugo. Otani's got the Dodgers, which isn't great. Glasnow has Baltimore tomorrow, which you don't feel great about. Luis Castillo has the Yankees. Nola has the Braves. Gaussman has the Marlins. I'm using him a lot. That's a spot that I like, even though the Marlins they've won 12 of 15, I believe. So it's yeah. So like all these dudes up top. Corbin Burns has the Diamondbacks, and they're great. Kershaw, who'd we just say was facing the Dodgers? All right, so Kershaw against the Angels, right? Yes. Yeah, that's fine. That's an okay matchup. Snell against San Francisco, I think you can feel fine about. Logan Allen, the rookie, against Oakland, great. Feel really good about that. He is confirmed for Thursday, but then, of course, you have the risk of rain out. It's, Oakland in Cleveland, so it's not like they want to make that game up. So they would probably try their darndest to get it in, but, we don't know. They can't, move it back retroactively. Yeah, Verlander, Scherzer against Houston. I don't love either of those matchups. It's Houston, even though they're down Yordan Alvarez, Framber Valdez on the other side. Houston against the Mets isn't great. Aaron Savali projecting very well. So there you go, John Riley. He got the Aaron Savali card. It's Oakland. They run him out there. Dylan Cease against Texas. Andrew Abbott against Atlanta, right? No, Cincinnati. Faces Colorado. So like Abbott, yeah, Eovaldi all the way down here against the White Sox is interesting, but I'm more likely to play matchups here because, like I said, all these high projected guys they have tough teams, so there's a good chance they get blown up. There's a good chance. I mean, we've seen a lot of these guys dominate, even in rough matchups, but it's so patchwork. It's so tough to nail down. Like you get a lot of situations where it goes one way or the other. Like aces can do that. I don't know. It's baseball. I don't need to explain the randomness of baseball. I realize I'm trying to do that right now, and that's kind of not worth it. Question in the chat from Nick: is Romano Limited worth around 8 to 10ish more than Presley? Depends on how bad you need a relief pitcher. Romano projects for 3 points more rest of season, so I would say no. It does depend on who you like more in playoffs. Like, do you like Toronto or do you like Houston? Houston's got the pedigree. I think Toronto's a better team. So, tough to say, man. I would say no. I would say no. Presley's just older. That's all. All right, let's look at some of the hitter projections. I just talked a lot about those dudes. Also, if you have the All-Star subscription, I did now include a weekly projection, so like you can kind of see who looks better for 2 game weeks. So, and you can see that kind of here. Ronald Acuna is number 1, unsurprisingly. Fernando Tatis is number 2, unsurprisingly. But Tatis number 1 for the midweek, 4 games for San Diego against San Francisco. Corbin Carroll right behind him. He is mashing 4 games. You see a lot of guys with 4 games. Everyone up here except Jose Ramirez, and then you get down to Goldschmidt and Acuna. So, yeah, a lot of Arizona, Minnesota, Boston, San Diego. Kansas City, you just get Witt, but... And wow, Lane Thomas actually sticking out here. Yeah, the Pirates have 4 games. So on the midweek, man, you're looking for 4 gamers. As far as the 4 gamers go, what good matchups are there? Boston and Minnesota is kind of moot. Arizona, if you got the Arizona guys, Milwaukee has not been good, even though you're going to see Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. But then you get Tommy Henry at Washington on Thursday. So those are a couple of rough teams. Again, I don't love the matchup with Kelly and Gallen, but 4 games and those teams look kind of promising. Kansas City at Detroit. So, like, Bobby Witt does look good there. They do have Tampa Bay on Thursday, though. I don't really love Miami against Toronto. Pittsburgh's got Chicago and Miami. That looks good. And then, yeah, I think the Padres are really your best matchup here. And then, Lane Thomas 3 against Seattle, 1 against Arizona, where it's Tommy Henry. Yeah. So I'm targeting San Diego, guys. For sure. Yes, Bob Jorge Soler is projecting very well for Miami. Barrios, Kikuchi, and Gaussman. I mean, those first 2 aren't the most dominant dudes in the world, so yeah, that looks good. Trying to build my collection, so I'm more concerned with winning in the short term than in the playoffs. That's more than fair. I don't think the difference is that big between Romano and Presley that you need to spend that money. Absolutely not. 3 points over the course of the season. Like you can look at Say Soccer's list and see, what type of lineups he might face and what type of opportunities for saves are going to come up, and maybe that's worth $8 to you. But I mean, like for $8, you got to win a really good card, or a couple um, in the short term. But yeah, I would, if you're not worried about the short term, I'd just stay with Presley. He he does have less of a hold on that job in Houston, for what it's worth. Like Romano is the guy in Toronto, and Presley is aging, and they have a lot of other pitchers there. So just to say that. Um, Giacomo, I'm going to get to you in a second. I am going to get out of here about quarter till, for what it's worth. So get your questions in now if you got them. All right. Giacomo says, so play guys like India with 3 or some lower caliber but decentish guys like Cabrian or Santana with 4. Of course, the projection answer is one thing, but is there scope to play variants? Yeah. So, like, when I see Jose Ramirez up here with 3 games, like, if I compare him to Christian Walker with 4 or Rafael Devers with 4, I don't know that, like Devers. No, I'm playing Devers in that situation with 3 games. Even if he's, Jose's playing the A's, I'm just gonna say like Devers has 3 or 4 more opportunities to do damage. But if I see Jose Ramirez projecting the same as, like, let's see, is there another? Yeah, like Jamer Candelario with 4 games, like. Yeah, say Ramirez projected the same. Like I'm playing Ramirez against the A's. There is, like, definitely with matchup. Like definitely if they're playing the A's, um, you can reconsider. And especially a guy like Jamer Candelario. Like what is he going to do? How much damage is he going to do over 4 games, even with those extra opportunities? Probably not a lot. I know I have a couple of instances um, in my lineups. If I can find them, I don't want to like just lollygag through my lineups really quick, but I know I've got a couple of 3 gamers in big spots instead of 4 gamers. Yeah, like I'm playing Spencer Steer at Cincinnati against Colorado instead of Max Kepler with 4 games against Boston. Mostly because I know Kepler's probably going to sit one of those if he doesn't just get hurt. Um, and then it's a real big decision with relievers. Like I have Kyle Finnegan on 4 games, but I'm playing Eric Swanson on 3 games because, Toronto's playing Miami. I think he's going to have more opportunities to come in and get holds, and he pitches when they have the lead. So I'm assuming they'll have the lead against Miami, which could be flawed, but I still think it's more likely that he pitches with the lead a couple times than like Finnegan goes out and gets 3 saves. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's relief pitchers. That's how that goes for sure. So hopefully that makes sense. High floor versus high ceiling plays. It's tough to call any hitter a floor play, but basically that's what consistent point scorers are. Like I don't know how many of those guys actually exist. Like Luis Arraez is a floor guy. Like he's going to get a couple of hits. Stephen Kwan, and then like high on base percentage guys, and I think that's a guy like Jose Ramirez. Basically, on base percentage is what's going to tell you who has a high floor, but it's kind of tough to guess. I'm always looking for upside. I don't like floor plays because you guys see the scores and you see how the prize structures are changing. Like you need upside regardless. So like yeah, Luis Arraez, Lamont Wade, Will Smith, Juan Soto, Rosarena, Freeman, Acuna, Noda, Diaz, Yordan Alvarez, Ian Happ, Adley Rutschman, Corbin Carroll, Sean Murphy, Shohei Ohtani. That's your top 15 in on base percentage. So like those guys are decent floor plays. But you heard some names in there. You know, the first couple, Arise and Wade, and you're like, yeah, they have floor. And then you hear Rosarena and Freeman, like, yeah, that's floor and upside. And Acuna, obviously. More ABs will yield usually a higher floor. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yep. Yep. Yep, for sure. Carter asks Elias Diaz or Adley Rutschman for this week. Got a couple of guys showing twice. Diaz is catcher. Rutschman is a catcher who plays. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, 2 games versus 3 games. I don't know. I would say Rutschman, even on 2 games. I can't say I like. You know, I can't say I like either. But you know, for a catcher, it's a less pronounced difference. Like Elias Diaz, I don't know if he DHs normally. I would look right now, but normally a catcher will sit at least one of the 3 games. So if he's not a constant DH, okay, yeah, he does. He does DH on his day off. Uh, I have a hard time telling you to play Elias Diaz over Adley Rutschman, though. I don't think I could like sleep at night telling you to do that. Adley Rutschman is Adley Rutschman. Um, it's a good thought exercise though because like look at these projections. I'm gonna quit sharing really quick because I think it's wonky. Um, if you look at the projections, look at the lack of difference between a lot of these guys and how you get there. This is especially funny because you got De La Cruz, India, and Fraley all on the same team projecting within a point of each other. So like then you have to go to a secondary question of like, all right, is a lefty pitching? Then maybe we like India or like are 2 lefties pitching? Also, you know, like can I get more out of my outfield? I'd probably rather play a middle infielder who projects better than a outfielder because there are fewer of those guys who do that sort of thing. Um, Rockies are not at home. This series is at Cincinnati, but like Cincinnati is Colorado light. So yeah, I don't know, man. I can't in good faith tell you to play Elias Diaz over Adley Rutschman, but I could see him outscoring. I mean, you know what? I'm going to play Diaz. Baltimore's at Tampa Bay. Tampa's good. Like Glasnow and Taj Bradley. Bradley's whatever, but like Glasnow and then the bullpen. Like I think you just take the extra game there, but I don't feel great about either, honestly. One second. Basically, what I'm saying though is like, don't just look at the projections and be like blindly like, yeah, this guy projects 0.07 points better than this guy. Let me play him. And I'm not saying you're doing that. Obviously, you're not. It's the game difference that you were looking at, and it's a valid question because like it's Adley Rutschman on 2 games or it's this other dude on 3. So, yeah, you have to ask questions like that a lot, and that's a tough one. Julius asks, do I like Sorare NBA or baseball more? I kind of want to say I like NBA more just to make Bob blow a gasket, but no, MLB is the best product on Sorare in my opinion. Soccer is great. I love Sorare football. It's just a lot more pay to win, and it's less fun in that regard. Basically, what I do in soccer is I just buy guys who project well that week and play them at the limited level, but like I got at the rare level a long time ago. I do love Sorare NBA. I do like it a lot. I don't care for how labor intensive it is, and it sounds like they're going to do daily games, and that's, I think, an interesting idea. I brought it up on the Sorare Data NBA show at one point, and everyone kind of laughed at me, but I think they're actually going to do that, and you can extract more out of your cards that way. But no, MLB is great. It's event based. It doesn't have the thing in NBA where like your guy drops a 75 one night and you know that he's not going to overcome that, so you kind of hope that he stubs his toe and misses the rest of the game and puts up a zero so his L10 cap goes down and stuff like that. There's some nuances to NBA that needs fixed. If we want to grow the audience, I think the game itself is fine. I think there's a rift there that people like to get heated about, but I know a lot of our friends in the Discord who played NBA came in and were like, I can't do this. And I kind of tried to warn everybody going into it without, like completely tossing water on the fire. But like I played NBA DFS and it's just too much. And Sorare NBA is not anywhere near what NBA DFS is. And that's saying something because it's a lot of work. But I love MLB. I think this is fantastic. What are your thoughts on McLean? I got India and Steer already, and the Reds are so much fun to watch right now. Getting the home stretch. Scared to pay the hype price, but I like him. I think I said on the last leadoff that I did that I'm just going to make Matt McLean a buy. Um, Rational me says don't, but you're right. He's a lot of fun. If you already have India, you don't need McLean because then you're having to use a flex spot on him. But he's come back to earth recently. His max exit velocity isn't crazy. He was just hitting the ball really well to start. He's got a pretty solid sprint speed. He's a good player, and he's only 23. He's going to be around. He's a middle infielder. I love him, but yeah, it's that hype price. What's he at now? $28 for a limited, 78 for a rare. Like that's bananas. I love him as a player. I don't love him as a purchase currently. I'm not crazy about buying him. I think you just want to pray you win him, and if you win him, you're going to be elated. Who's the worst projecting everyday player until the end of the season? Um, I can answer that. I have to put a threshold on the amount of games they think they're going to play. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot. I'm just going to put it at 80. I'll knock it down a couple and see. It's a funny question. At 80 games, Miles Straw. That sounds about right. The guy that I recently recommended. Um, but kind of he's so cheap and his value is that he does play every day, so he has opportunities. JP Crawford down there makes me sad because I have his super rare and he's been all right. But yeah, Miles Straw is definitely a great answer for this. Candelario and Lane Thomas, two guys we just talked about. Josh Bell, oof. Jeff McNeil, that's interesting. Let's lower this threshold a little bit and see if we're still getting like a everyday sort of guy. I haven't updated this in a while. Dom Smith, not great. Adam Frazier, singles hitter. Ha-Sung Kim, yeah. These all make sense. Bryson Stott. But yeah, I think Miles Straw is kind of the answer. Best player projection ETH for rest of season in mid-high tier price that I like. You're asking me all the rest of season questions, huh? Marcus, I can almost assuredly tell you that McCutcheon is the answer to that, projections-wise, over Morrill. The Cubs don't have 4 games, right? They just play someone who does? Oh, no, they're in, yeah. Oh, they're playing in, hold up. They're playing in London, are they not? So you're telling me that the Pirates are going to fly out of London on Wednesday afternoon? Hold up. Am I wrong? June 24th. Okay, it's this weekend. Okay. My buddy's a Cubs beat writer and he's in London. Okay, yeah, that's why they have 2 days off. That makes a ton more sense. I was like, are you really going to put Pittsburgh on a plane and fly them to Miami from London and expect them to play? All right. McCutcheon projects really well, but I had another question I wanted to answer. So sorry. Sorry for the sidetrack. Already. Are you talking limited or rare on the both? On the mid high tier, because I love Jose Ramirez at the limited level. Devers, Tucker, love those guys there. At the rare level, Bregman, Chapman, and Swanson are both very good. Limited. Okay, yeah. Yeah, any of these guys you see coming up white here, especially the higher numbers. Schwarber, I always love. Yeah, Bregman at that price is bananas. Austin Riley at .018 is great given his youth. Yeah, I think Devers is my answer. You are yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought you were Louisville. I'm sorry for butchering your name. Also, Brian Reynolds. That's still. I mean, that's a tiny price, but yeah. If anyone you see with a white number here. All right, I'm going to answer the Morrill McCutcheon question really quick. Yeah, McCutcheon's way up here with 4 games. That's my answer. Is Corbin Carroll rookie of the year so far? Anyone else close to him? Yes and no. I don't think. It's just that he's on a torrid pace right now. Um, but no, I don't think. I can't think anyone who's near him. Let's see. Yeah, like currently, and he's the NL rookie of the year. You still have an AL rookie of the year, and that's who's challenging him. So like he has 3.4 WAR, which is the best like catch-all stat you can use for this sort of question. I'm explaining to the people who don't know that. Sorry if you already know this, but it's not. It is indicative of success in Sorare, but also there's a lot of noise in there defensively that doesn't translate perfectly well to Sorare. So yeah, Carroll's at 3.4. The next rookie is Luke Raley at 2.1. So like not quite double, but close. And then Josh Young at 1.9, Ryan Noda at 1.8. Those three guys are all in the American League. And then there's James Outman at 1.4. So Corbin Carroll is more than double James Outman. So, and I don't see him slowing down. He's, got a 160 weighted runs created plus. He's 60% better than the average hitter. And then, after Outman, it's Joey Weimer, who's got an 86 weighted runs created plus. He's only got a high WAR because I think he's a catcher, or was, or I could be wrong. But yeah, by far. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Drop them in the chat. I am going to go back. I still have some questions that I wanted to answer from recent leadoff shows. I know we were, let's see, trade deadline. I talked about that. Someone asked, okay, I said I would answer this. Hugo, I think you're in the chat currently, asked what I thought about the rewards distribution. And that's tough because I don't have a lot of thoughts on this stuff. I know a lot of people do. I don't. Um, I'm just happy to be here. I'm really happy to get to do this. And so let's see. So I play up to Sorare Pro. So I'll start there. One tier one at Sorare Pro makes sense. Like you can't give away a ton of tier one super rare pro, sorry, tier one super rares, and then you also get $800. Like that's sick. And then tier two for second through fourth, that's fine. And then threes and then fours. No fives. Great. Smart. Super Rare Pro, I think, is set up great. I know a lot of the problems are at the unique level. The fact that you're only winning tier ones, and then like our friend Bob, he won a Rafael Devers for winning unique All Star, which like if you're buying uniques and playing uniques, you should at least win a tier level or a star level super rare. So I have a problem with that. Um, I think at the unique level, you could even give away a second super rare in tier one. Like I think there needs to be a tier zero, like there is in soccer, um, because there's a clear difference between some of these guys in tier one. Like, would you rather have Adolis Garcia and Bobby Miller, or I mean, like Yoshida? There's no reason for him to be in here. Michael Harris hits ninth. He's not a tier one. And then you have guys like Acuna and Strider and Franco and Turner and Guerrero and Otani and Betts. And like even Kyle Tucker, I would argue, is not in that. He's at tier one. He's not a tier zero. How many guys here would I put in tier zero? Bichette is close. Harper is close. Carroll, I would put in there. I wouldn't put Ellie. I would put Tatis in there. Freeman, I would. Jordan Walker shouldn't even be in tier one, in my opinion. Jose Ramirez, I would put in tier zero. Soto and Rodriguez, I would put in tier zero. Tucker could go either way based on what I just said about those two, but I think those two in their youth and their star power, yes. Betts, yes. Trout, yes. Alonso, for what he does in the game, probably tier zero. Acuna, McClanahan's close. Otani, obviously. Strider, yes. Turner, yes. Guerrero, yes. Franco, yes. Gallen, no. So like, there's a big difference here. So at the high end, I don't care for it, and I understand why people are frustrated. Unique Pro, you should either win money everywhere here, or you should win a unique. I don't care if it's tier 4 or a tier 5 unique. Like, get people into unique, and I do think it's coming. I have faith that they'll eventually do it once they realize, like, once they start to pare down the amount of cards on auction because people aren't joining as fast. Like maybe after the All-Star break, they're like, all right, that was our big opportunity. Maybe now we drop it a little bit. Maybe at that point they're like, all right, so now we can start getting some of those uniques out there that we're not otherwise going to sell. Let me finish this thought. I see there's other questions in there. I personally am happy that they went to single scarcity in American League and National League, even if they dropped these rewards, just because I'm set up to compete there. I understand how it might affect people. It makes me happy. But yeah, see, like if you're going to give away one tier one, like if I win some of those guys, I don't know, like I'd be happy with a Bobby Miller, but like if I win and I'm not getting ETH with it, it's kind of whack. How much could I get for a Bobby Miller rare right now? It's probably not a great answer. Yeah, 0.05. An $86 card for winning. I think that's kind of wild. Like I'm fine with only 5, or I guess 4 tier 2s, but Like the rest of this makes sense to me. Just the high end, like make it worth it. Like why am I spending money on these cards if I'm just gonna win more of the same guys? I don't know. I I try not get into the like, well, I spent this much on the lineup, I should be winning this much because I have deeper thoughts about what you're investing in and what you're winning on this platform. Like everyone who's here right now is basically in on the ground floor. Like there's the ground floor of the guys who started playing football before the big explosion. That's like the ground floor, but like we're still in early days here. And basically, if you are holding some really good cards, especially really young guys, so like 2 to 3 years, when I think personally that this is going to be like the fantasy baseball product out there, you're going to have a lot of equity, and the card prices I think do end up going up, even though there's more and more issued every year. I don't know. I can't speak to the supply and demand. That's just how I see it going. But yeah, Rare Pro, yes, give me cash. I don't care if there's only a tier two. Guy in the Discord won his first Rare Pro. He got a Manny Machado. Great. That's a great super rare to get with rare cards. That's fine. Um, this is fine. I would love to see more ETH distributed. I would prefer ETH to these, but I don't mind holding on to guys and hoping. So I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I would like to see more ETH prizes. Sandlot's been great. Makes you feel like you win a little bit more if you figure in there. But yeah, I'd like to see ETH in the single scarcity. Like if you're going to do that here, maybe not even at the limited level, but like toss me $5. I don't care. Just make me feel like I am in it. Same with Super Rare All Star. I think there should be ETH rewards anywhere north of mixed scarcity All Star contests. Okay. All right, I got about 5 minutes left. Let me run through some of these. Am I expecting an all-star dip in prices similar to what we saw in the NBA? Yeah, it'll start eventually. It may have already started. It just depends on how many people are getting on and off the platform. But I don't know that it's an all-star specific dip. But it was also different with MEA too because I saw people, they were signing off of the Discord and ending their subscriptions because they're just like, I don't want to play NBA anymore. It's too much, which I understood. This is like, I don't know. I make my first lineups when I get projections in the day before, and then the day of, I remake them and then I load them up and I'm done. Whereas NBA, I'm like switching guys at lock and updating right before lock, and it's a lot. Lincoln asked, when we get the updated Patreon spreadsheets, what's typically being updated for today as compared to yesterday as example? It depends on which sheet you have. If you're looking at veteran, then there's everything. If you're a $5 subscriber, everything that you see is getting updated. It's just more recent. If you have All-Star, it depends. It depends on what I haven't updated. But like you're always getting game week projections updated. So if you're in the Discord, I'll say it sometimes like this was updated, this was updated, this was updated, this was not. So like when I updated the initial projections for this week yesterday, I also changed the full season 2023 Zips projections to the 2024 so people can start looking at guys who project really well for next year. So that's in the $10 version. But you're always going to get this stuff updated, and I do update a game week ahead, and then that's why I have this week thing. And if I don't update it, I'll say it generally. But the rest of the season stuff and the prices, that gets updated quite a bit. So it depends. National stack this week versus the Cards pitching. I would never stack the Nationals. Cards pitching isn't good, but like I wouldn't do it. If it were a one game slate, yeah. But no, I'm not counting on the Nationals to go off. Maybe one or two, like an Alec Thomas or what Candelario is projecting well. Meneses makes sense. He can hit the ball. Sandlot is fun. Yes. Small utility, some utility. I agree completely. I don't need everything. I just realized I wasn't sharing the the sheet when I was saying you get all of this, but basically like the Monday through Thursday and the midweek combined, Friday through Sunday, weekend combined, and then the weekly. That's always updated when I do update. Got this Luis Garcia guy in a trade recently. Oh yeah, he has 4 games. Yeah, it doesn't move me a lot. Do I think we get MLB action shots? No, I don't. I wish. It would be very cool. It'd be great. I I want like actual baseball cards of like people performing actions. Like that's I think that would make things so much better. But basically, I think I think the way it goes is that Sorare has to pay for like they paid for media day images from the NBA or like Getty or whoever. So that means they get all of those images, which when they take those photos, I've been there on media day, it's like they're snapping multiple photos and then they're like, all right, here's a ball. Do this, do this, do this. So there are probably a bunch to choose from. Um, so yeah. But no, I don't think we get them with MLB because I don't think they take those shots. Would be cool though. I want candy on Sorare. I don't know what that means. I didn't mess around. If you're talking about like the candy NFT project, then I don't know. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I would like if the cards were cooler. I would like. I've talked about this a lot with NBA too. Like if the Sorare cards were actual highlights, like NBA Top Shot, like that's awesome. People got on Top Shot a ton for the way that it was handled, but don't get it twisted. Top Shots were cool. They just over minted and had no utility. So like if I could buy a Ronald Acuna card where he steals second base, like if I'm looking at his score for the week and it's just a loop of him like just running on people and sliding coolly head first into second, like that'd be sick. That bomb he hit in New York and like just change those out and like all of a sudden you can pay for the Ronald Acuna card who gets you the same amount of price, but he's hitting a homer on this card versus the other one he's making a diving catch, and like the diving catch is still cool, so maybe you are okay with paying down, or someone wants the homer because that's flashy or something. I think that's cool. I think that has a whole market dynamic and might destabilize the market a little bit, and I could see why they would want to do that, but that's what I have in mind. Yeah, I never bought candy, but all right, I gotta get out of here. I gotta take the pup to the vet. If you have any more questions, drop them in here. What's up, Chris? Sorry, we're running out on you right as you get in. Um, if anyone has any last minute, last second lineup questions, I got about a minute or two, so um, it'll take a second for my actual live stream to catch up to y'all and you guys to type it out. But yeah, I gotta run here. So if you got any lineup questions, drop them in the chat. If you got any other questions, drop them in the chat, and I will be succinct. And then I gotta run. As soon as I see myself drink water on my screen, I'll know we're out of questions. Thank you, Jumpshoot. All right, I'm drinking on the stream, so. Hey, happy Juneteenth to you. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there who celebrates. You should at least acknowledge it, understand what it is, and yeah, absolutely. Thank you for dropping that in your Jumpshoot. That's very cool of you to remind everybody. And yeah, if you don't know what that is, especially if you live in the United States, make sure you know. Educate yourself. But all right, no other questions. I'm no longer even drinking on my monitor. So that means I'll get out of here. The leadoff will be back tomorrow through Thursday. I don't know what time lock is on Friday. I will make that decision. Sometimes it's a little easier for me to do these than edit those together, but we'll see how that goes. Leadoff will be back. Good luck, everybody. And if you're in the Discord, I'll be around for the next couple hours until lock, checking here and there. Of course, John, you're welcome. Play that Savali. Play that Savali somewhere, even if it's in Sandlot. I think he's going to have a nice outing this weekend. So, all right. Well, it's not the weekend. It's the midweek. Whatever. It's all running together to me. All right, I'm out of here.